everybody. Dave Brown and Corey Macklin here at ringside. We are ready to go with another day of USWA Championship Wrestling.
Oh, yeah. Hello, Dave. We've got a big one today. Johnny Polo. He's on the card. His opponent, Jeff Jarrett, a fabulous one. Good bout there today. Scott Taylor and Randy Rocket. Good-looking team we've seen in the USWA. They'll be in against Principal C.W. Bergstrom and his A student, Melvin Penrod, Jr. And to the expiration of time, you got Brian Christopher against the King, Jerry Lawler.
Oh, what a match here today.
Right here today.
Several of them. You stay with us, fans. We got to get it underway right after this. Don't leave. Well, it's been an exciting week in the USWA.
Yeah.
In case you haven't heard, there is a brand new unified world champion. Take a look at this.
He deliberately threw him into morale, picks Lawler up and slams him down. He's got a pair of brass knuckles, it looks like, that Prentice handed to him, comes off the ropes with them, and covers Lawler. Hooks the leg of the King. He's got him covered. Stuffs the brass knuckles in his tights. Frank Morrell's out. Here comes Paul Neighbors. Referee Paul Neighbors comes out and calls for the bell. In 7 minutes and 53 seconds, referee Paul Neighbors comes out and calls for the bell and gives Owen Hart the unified world title. Hey, Frank Morrell is back on his feet, though, and Frank. Hey, he shoves down Paul Neighbors, snatches the title back from Hart. Hey, Frank says restart the bell, says he's refereeing the match. Yeah, we're restarting it. Hey, and they knock Frank down. Hey, give me the title, Prentice. There goes Paul Neighbors hightailing it out of here. Paul came in and counted to 1, 2, 3. Hey, look at Frank. He got him.
Well, when you're the unified world champion, as the King, Jerry Lawler, is right now, there's always somebody looking toward beating you and winning that championship belt. And, you know, behind-the-scene things there, too, I got an idea that maybe Bret and Owen Hart could be a little bit behind Jerry Lawler's next opponent. Bert Prentice has asked for some time. I don't even see Bert Prentice right now, but he's asked for some time to introduce that opponent right now. So if we got a camera on Bert wherever he is.
You know, Jerry Lawler, I've been thinking about you a lot this week. I've been thinking about all the mistakes you've made in your life. How you must feel being a total embarrassment to the USWA. How you must feel that all your life you've done nothing but make enemy after enemy after enemy. And Jerry Lawler, my dear friend, you've made some very serious enemies here lately. Two of my dear friends, Bret Hart. You embarrassed him on a major pay-per-view wrestling show. His brother Owen Hart come to Memphis to try to talk to you, try to deal with you. You try to embarrass him, pile drive him 9, 10 times, and steal my belt. Well, Jerry Lawler, you have enemies now like you've never had in your entire life. Jerry Lawler, I'm not sleeping well at night, quite frankly, and neither is Bret Hart or Owen Hart. And right now, I'm going to take a pill to let me sleep at night. And Jerry Lawler, I heard you're afraid of things that go bump in the night. What is that I heard? Was that a bump in the night? Jerry Lawler, I'm not going to rest. And I have promised the Hart family that I'm not going to stop until every drop of blood is gone from your living body. Sleep well, Jerry Lawler.
Something in the background there.
Yeah.
Well, I tell you what, not only do we have a new unified champion, we have also new tag team champions, too. Take a look at some of the highlights of this match. New Jack and Homeboy going against C.W. Bergstrom and his A student, Melvin Penrod, Jr.
Oh, yeah. And another tag, and Paul says it's official, and here comes New Jack. New Jack backs Bergstrom up and whips him in. Fine forearm on C.W. Bergstrom. Homeboy's got Melvin Penrod Bergstrom with a right. Left hand from New Jack. Homeboys over on the other side with Penrod. Bergstrom down. Hey, New Jack's got him covered with a flying press. Referee Paul Neighbors doesn't see it as he tries to get homeboy in his corner. And Penrod drops a big leg down on New Jack. Bergstrom covers. 1, 2. Oh, boy. Hey, come on.
Well, there it is. Brand new tag team champions, C.W. Bergstrom, the principal, and the A student, Melvin Penrod Jr. You've already had your time. We had...
Yeah.
All right, let's see what he has to say here. Bert Prentice out there once again. Hold the phone. We had your interview right up here. And
you got another one right now. Eddie Marlin's office has reported this week that Simply Divine, Rex King, and Steve Dahl are going to wrestle, have a title shot against my men, C.W. Bergstrom and Melvin Penrod Jr.
They deserve it.
No, you don't have a title match. I have told Steve and Rex to stay home. They're still my team. We are a family. And furthermore, Simply Divine, King and Dahl don't deserve a match right now. Melvin Penrod and C.W. Bergstrom are the champions. And we're going to have a great run right now, and maybe when that's over, Simply Divine can come back and do something. But I'm telling you, I'm running the show here. Eddie Marlin's trying to cause problems.
Simply Divine right here.
What are you guys doing here?
What's going on here with you?
I thought you were going to stay home today. I told you to stay home.
Let me tell you something,
I was
Bert.
just telling the people what a most deserving team you are and how you deserve a title shot.
Bert, why don't you quit running your mouth for just about 2 seconds here, okay? Let me tell you something, brother. When you told us to stay home this morning, when you told us to stay at the house and not show up for TV taping this morning, we thought we smelled a rat. We didn't know it weighed about 300 pounds.
Now, don't say something you're going to regret, Steve.
I'm not saying nothing. Let me tell you something. We're back in the back. I heard what you had to say about Simply Divine not deserving a title shot.
No, you misunderstood. I said you're most deserving.
Hey, listen. You don't stutter, and my ears don't flap, baby. I heard exactly what you said. And I'm going to tell you something right here and right now. If you want to choose those two goofballs, Bergstrom and his jabroni, that's fine with us, but you're going to make a decision, and you ain't going to make it. You're not going to make it next week. You're not going to make it next month. Or next year, you're going to make it now. We deserve that title shot, and we're going to get our title shot.
First of all, you people mind your own business. You lower your tone when you talk to me. You lower your tone. You respect me. I control your lives. I'm the only way you... Turn around here. I'm the only way you're going to the WWF. And I don't think you need to come out here and discuss this in front of all these idiots. So just go back, and we'll talk about it tonight. We'll talk about it tonight. Now, Eddie Marlin can cancel this.
Maybe you didn't hear me. I said we'll discuss it now. We're going to get it straight now.
No, maybe you didn't hear me. Maybe you didn't hear me.
Right now, we're going to get it straight.
You want to get it straight?
Or you're managing that?
You want to get it straight? No career for you. I'll just rip up your contract that I happen to have here right now.
Oh, is that right? Let me tell you something. I'm going to save you all the problems in the world. You don't have to make any more major decisions anymore. You got that? Because we just did it for you. How about that, Mr. Prentice?
Well, who do you idiots think you are? I saved you from... I got you out of jail in Puerto Rico.
You better watch your mouth right now.
No, you better watch... You better watch your stuff. You better watch your stuff.
No, I
Oh, Simply Divine, King and Dahl jump on Prentice, and here comes Bergstrom and Penrod. C.W. Bergstrom and Melvin Penrod Jr. come out and jump on King and Dahl in their day.
Well, I tell you, this Penrod has just grabbed Steve Dahl, threw him into the ring after C.W. Bergstrom grabbed Rex King. Prentice out here limping around on the floor. In the ring, you got Simply Divine against the current World Tag Team title holders. A non-scheduled match going on in the ring right now with no referee.
Yeah, Prentice is in there, but in the middle of all of it. And Bergstrom just picks up Rex King and slams him down. Penrod got Dahl, and this whole thing is just gotten out of order simply because Bert Prentice wants to manage both King King and Dahl and Bergstrom and Penrod. Oh, boy. Double splash from Penrod and Prentice in there.
It looks like they're going to try it again. There they go.
Oh, boy. King and Dahl out in the ring, and Prentice humiliates him, just slapping Rex King.
While C.W. Bergstrom stands guard, now he adds his boot to Rex King. Here's Eddie Marlin out to try to restore some order. He's up on the ring apron, and they just continue to work on King and Dahl. King and Dahl mighty upset that all of a sudden Bert Prentice has endorsed Bergstrom and Melvin Penrod. Well, the USWA has been training one of the great athletes in the world here for the last a little bit of time here. We're going to introduce him to you in just a moment. As far as I know, he is the only Australian rugby player who has made the transition and played in the NFL, played for the Cardinals.
Yeah,
and wait till you see him. Well, let's take a look right here. Here's a little introduction. This is Colin Scott.
The grand finals may be over, but one football hero is just getting underway with his season. An historic season at that. Colin Scott is the first Australian to make it into the real big time of professional gridiron in America. He started off as a schoolboy rugby star, and the skeptics, just as in the jingle, said he'd never make it. But as Jeff McMullen tells us in this report, Colin Scott has become a giant among giants.
4-15! Stay high!
They said an Australian rugby player would never make it in American football. But Colin Scott took on the biggest yanks they could throw at him.
I'm weighing about 275, which is coming on to 20 stone, but there's a lot of, 320 pounders, 300 pounders, which is, 24, 25 stone. These men are huge.
After 6 years of blood, sweat and tears, he's now the first Australian to play American pro football.
Craig from the shotgun. And dragged down from behind by Colin Scott.
Little dance, a little Australian jig after making the play.
How hard was it to win that respect? You had to climb over them.
Yeah, climb, fight, kick, spit, you name it, they threw it at me. I mean, some of them were better athletes than me, but they just didn't want it as much as I did.
Danny White. And the Cardinals clamp down. Colin Scott's the first Australian in the NFL on his first NFL sack.
Scott said he's going to try his famous kangaroo hop if he gets a sack today, but I said, hey, you can't do that in NFL. It's illegal. He said, I'll tone it down and call it the crocodile yawn. Now, check this out. Hop, hop, hop.
You've all heard of the refrigerator, man. The refrigerator can move over because this kangaroo has taken over. Woo-hoo-hoo!
Take me to the Aussie sundown under. Fun's gonna treat me so right, so right. I can almost see them singing, yeah, and see the upback sky. You should be coming with me, baby, 'cause right before your eyes, see, supper's got the perfect waves, having fun, this I love. Talking about summer days, I can't wait. You got to get me back. Take me to the Aussie sundown under. Whoa. Take me where that Aussie fun's gonna treat me so right, so right.
And there he is right there. Colin Scott's headed this way. Rugby, NFL football, and now USWA Championship Wrestling. Glad to have you here.
Good to be here, Dave. Very good to be here.
I know you've been training for some time now. You think you're ready to climb into that ring and go with your debut match? It's been signed.
Well, I'm excited about it, Dave. It's the first time I'm going to be in the ring this week, and
I'm really looking forward to the opportunity. I've been training real hard the last few months, and actually been training harder than I ever did for my NFL career and for my rugby career. So I'm very determined. I know I'm not going to win every match out there, mate, but I'm going to get out there and give them my best Aussie effort. And one thing I promise you, Dave, it's going to be exciting, mate.
Very good. Well, we're looking forward to it. I tell you, from some of the action we saw on the football field there, I'm sure it is going to be exciting. Your opponent coming in now, I don't know if you know much about him or not. He's trying to work his way into the top 10, and to do that, he needs a win. And I'm not sure Eddie Marlin's done him any favors by putting him in there, even though it is your debut match. Talking about the legend Tony Falk. You know anything about him?
I heard a lot about him, Dave. Yeah, I respect him, mate. He's a great wrestler, and speaking of the devil, here he is now, mate.
Yeah, he is here. Tony, look, we don't need any trouble. The match is signed. It's coming up later in the week.
It's not going to be no trouble out here. I just want to talk to this guy.
Pleasure to meet you, mate.
I'm the legend Tony Falk.
Pleasure to meet you, man.
And I want to tell you something. See, you don't know this Eddie Marlin. He's no good. He's a no good for nothing. He's always trying to trick people.
I heard he's a good guy, man.
You see, he knows I'm on my way after Jeff Jarrett and that title, and now he's going to put you in the ring hoping it's going to mess up my plans. Well, let me tell you something. I'm a veteran. I've been around a long time. I know what I'm doing in that ring. Listen to me. I know this is a tough sport. It's not like football. We don't have pads all over our body to protect us. This is a tough sport. So I'm going to tell you what you need to do. You need to talk to Eddie Marlin and see if he can reschedule you a match with one of these jabronis around here. Then you'll probably be able to take care of yourself. You might even get your hand raised, but you don't want to wrestle the legend, I'm telling you.
Well, I've heard a lot about you, Mr. Legend, and I respect what you're doing, mate. I know you're trying to get into the top 10 and everything, but I ain't trying to get to the top 10, mate. I'm trying to be number one in this wrestling arena, and you're the one I want to fight. And I'm Australian, mate. One thing about Australians, mate, we don't turn our backs to a good fight, and I'm ready for you, matey.
Well, I'm telling you, this is a tough sport. It's not like that pansy football. If you get up here right now, I want to show you something. I'm going to show you what a real wrestling hold is.
Well, you've been at training, yeah, you know. Well, okay. Colin Scott's going to step up into the ring. Not backing up from him right here, I'll tell you that. Match coming up. Colin's debut match will be coming up later this week. But the legend's worried. It's what it is. He would prefer to have an opponent where he can get what would appear to be an easier victory. And look at the size on this guy right here.
That's
My goodness. And an athlete who's been in training for years, first in rugby, then in football, now in the USWA. And all right, Tony bars that arm. And cuffing him on the back of the head there a little bit.
Yeah, now that's not a wrestling hold.
No, there's nothing legitimate about that wrestling hold at all. Hey, grabbing him by the hair, putting his face into the mat, that's... Boy, Tony's version of legitimate professional wrestling holds is quite different from what the rule book. Look at this, he's hitting him.
Yeah, just clobbering Scott right across the back of his head. Yeah, but look, Scott gets up. Gives Falk that big kick and kicks him out of the ring. Oh, yeah, Tony Falk says you'll pay for it.
Yeah, but he got out of there real quick, and I think Mr. Scotts is going to be able to hold his own against the legend Tony Falk, and maybe a bunch of other folks, too.
Yeah.
Colin, way to go, and good luck to you on this debut match coming up. There he is, the one and only King, Jerry Lawler. Greeting some of the crowd as he comes around here. King, the unified world title resting around your waist again.
Well, you know, it took some time and it took some doing, but as I promised everybody, once again, you can see what's around the waist right here. And now I stand back in the back and I watch the monitor and I see Bert Prentice with, I don't know what or who it was lurking over his shoulder there. Obviously, he thinks that's going to be my next opponent. But let me just tell you something, Bert Prentice. I want to understand why you have to get somebody to do your fighting for you. Why don't you be a man? Why don't you step up to the plate and take a swing? Why do you always have to have somebody like C.W. Bergstrom or somebody like this big fat Melvin what is his name, Penrod or whatever? This guy's so fat he's got his own zip code. Let me tell you something. I sort of expect that from you, Bert Prentice, but I didn't really expect it from guys like Owen Hart and Bret Hart. Because Bert Prentice is back there saying that Owen Hart and Bret Hart are the two men responsible
for going out now and finding opponents to try to come in here and take this belt and try to do me in? Well, let me tell you something, Burt Prentice. I don't know exactly what that was you had standing behind you, but I'm not scared of things that go bump in the night unless it would be you and I'd be standing between you and the refrigerator tonight. I'd be a little scared then. But I've wrestled things like Leatherface, people like the Mummy, people like Dr. Frank, if we want to go back a long ways. I've wrestled all of these so-called monsters and even all the monsters in the World Wrestling Federation. And as you can see, Burt Prentice, I'm still here, and I am still the USWA Unified World Heavyweight Champion. So you get on that telephone, and you call Owen Hart, and you call Bret Hart, and you call anybody else you want to, and you tell them that the king is right here in the USWA, and that's where he's going to stay, and that's where I'm easy to find. So anybody that you got that wants a little bit of me, you tell them if they feel froggy, all they got to do is jump, because the king is right here each and every week. Bring them on, Burt Prentice, because I'm ready for anything you got, pal. Let's have it.
Well, there's a word from the king, Jerry Lawler. He doesn't care who he comes running in here. He's going to take care of him. Yeah. Hey, Jennifer has been on the road again this week. She has a look at the fabulous one, Jeff Jarrett. Take a look.
Hi, this is Jennifer, and this week I'm on the road with the new Southern Heavyweight Champion, Jeff Jarrett. But first of all, let me tell you this. I talked to Jackie Fargo, and he made me promise that when I do my on-the-road segment with Jeff, that I'll introduce him this way. So, Jackie, I'm going to try to do it just like you told me. Often imitated, but never duplicated. The one and only, the fabulous one, Jeff Jarrett. Now, I'm here today on beautiful Old Hickory Lake, and Jeff told me that in his spare time, he likes to ride his jet ski and, you know, go out on the boat. So Jeff promised to take me for a ride today.
Jennifer?
No.
I've got the jet ski ready. I've got the boat. I got all the camera equipment down here. Now, I've done all the work. Now, let's get out on the lake.
Well, first I want to ask you some questions.
Oh, no. This is the interview time. Miss Professional Interviewer. Okay.
Okay, now I already know you like to spend time on the lake, but what else do you like to do in your spare time?
Oh, I like to do all sorts of things, Jennifer. I like to play basketball. You know, I played basketball in college, and I still like to play basketball, baseball, any kind of sport you can imagine, shoot pool. I like to listen to country music, rock music, just about anything. I pretty like to do a little bit of everything, but the lake, during the summertime, it's one of my favorite things.
Mm-hmm. Well, tell me about the new Southern Heavyweight title. Are you excited about it? I know you are.
Well, excited, that's an understatement. Now, you're excited too, aren't you?
Oh, yeah, really excited.
You're not acting like it. I guess you're...
Well, now, Jeff, you know, I cannot be partial. I have to do an on-the-road segment with Brian, so...
Well, I guess you were happy when Brian was champion, huh?
No, I'm just, you know, I'm happy for you, happy for both of you.
I can't say how excited. I worked 5, 6, 7 weeks. Really, I've worked my whole life to be the Southern Heavyweight Champion, and I really concentrated in the last 8 weeks, and I'm just happy now that I am the champion.
Okay, well, I know you didn't hear my introduction, but I introduced you as the fabulous one, because Jackie Fargo wanted that way. So how do you feel about that?
Well, you know that Jackie was a part of my family. He seemed like a part of my family ever since I was a kid, and he used to come over when I was young, and we'd shoot basketball together. We'd just mess around. He'd take me fishing or hunting or something like that. And then as he got out of wrestling, he still took his name very serious, and he's very proud of the fabulous one, and he's asked me to carry on the name, and it's really something that I just don't know if I can live up to his expectations, but because he really is the true fabulous one, but I'm going to do my best. But Jennifer, are you ready to get loud on the lake?
Okay, let's go.
What happened, Jennifer? Took a little spill?
Jeff, you promised not to get me wet.
Oh, Jennifer, you're fabulous even when you're wet. Come on.
The fabulous one, so anointed by none other than the original fabulous one, Jackie Fargo, climbs in the ring. Southern heavyweight title handed out. His opponent, Johnny Polo, here today. Non-title match, but Johnny Polo is standing there waiting to get into action. Referee Paul Neighbors is telling Jeff, get the warm-up gear off and let's go. Boy, Paul is being a bit insistent that she's going quick. He's in a hurry all of a sudden. Here we go. Johnny Polo against the fabulous one, Jeff Jarrett.
We're underway with the one fall, 15 minutes in time, and Paul Neighbors shoves Jarrett back. Telling him to back off of him. And look at Paul telling Jarrett, yeah, if you swing it, hit me, I'll suspend you.
Yeah, biting. Go ahead, hit me right here, he said.
Boy, what in the world? I look at Paul, hit me.
Why did he break that hold?
Well, he counted to the 5, and he did it so quickly. He counted really about 2.
Okay.
But he counted 5 so quickly in there, Jarrett had to break the hold in there.
Well,
Neighbors still insisting that Jeff Jarrett hits him too. Flamingo, well, Polo, Johnny Polo, backs Jarrett up, nails him, covers up, 1, 2. Oh, that 2 count.
Boy, he's counted that fast, didn't he? Woo.
I don't know if Paul can move that quick, but he counted 2 real quick in there.
Hey, shoving it. Hey, come on now.
See now, look at that.
Inviting Jeff to hit him and then shoving him back. I know what it is.
Yeah.
Match has already been signed, which involves Jeff Jarrett and Paul Neighbors. Paul would love for him to tag him, just give him an excuse to suspend him, and then he wouldn't have to face him in the ring. I bet that enters into it. You got a conflict of interest going here with Paul Neighbors. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, my sentiments exactly. I think Paul probably thought about that earlier this week, and the fans shouting, "We want Frank!" Talking about referee Frank Morrell and our Neighbors. A little noise back to the fans as Polo grabs the arm of the fabulous one. Jeff Jarrett. Jarrett reverses it and pulls Polo out. Now Polo says he pulled my hair, and Neighbors, he didn't see it. He just like Polo. What did he do? What did he do? And shoved Jarrett off of him.
There he goes again, inviting him to hit him. And Jeff, very wisely, not doing it. Imagine how tough that is. I mean, here it is. You're wrestling your opponent. Well, Jeff, I must say, from watching Neighbors today and in some other matches, what a fan and what opponents, no matter what the sport, want is a referee will call it right down the middle, or at least call it the same on both sides.
Yeah.
I'm not sure we're reaching that ideal with Paul Neighbors.
Hey, Polo covers Jarrett. 1, 2. Boy, Jeff gets up.
There again, a 2 count, and Jeff upset at the very quick count. He really had to move to prevent himself being pinned. Now, I've heard wrestlers talk about it many, many times before. The King has explained it about as well as anybody, and certainly better than I can. But he will use that time. He knows how much time the 3 count's going to take, and he'll kind of gather a little reserve energy for the moment. Well, with that quick count there, you don't have time to do that.
Boy, you only got about a half a second of a 2 count. Look at that! Hard press from Jarrett. Look at Paul Neighbors.
What is this?
Just walks over there, gets down, and doesn't even count. Boy, Jeff goes up the ball. Neighbors gets in there and shoves Jarrett down. Boy, this Paul Neighbors has got to be ridiculous. He has got to be something else. Jarrett nailing away on Polo over there. Hey, Neighbors has Jeff. And Polo covers Jeff Jarrett. Jarrett, oh, he's trying to fight Polo and Paul Neighbors. He's got Neighbors. Snatches him up in the collar. Now Paul Neighbors and sends him down. He busted Neighbors. Neighbors out. Polo jumping on Jarrett. Neighbors. He gets on his feet and punches Jeff Jarrett. Neighbors, with a couple of punches, couple of left hands, nailing away on Jeff Jarrett. Right in the midsection. Here comes up for Jeff Jarrett. Midsection jumps on Paul Neighbors. Nailing away on Paul. Here comes Brian Christopher. Oh, boy. Christopher picks up Miss Texas. High and slapped her. Oh, boy. Here comes Frank Morrell. Morrell, hey, he grabbed Paul Neighbors. And that falls. Overs Christopher and Polo. Miss Simpson's out, choking on Miss Texas. Frank Morrell. Nails Neighbors. Boy, we got a wild one. It's totally out of control. Here comes Adam Marlin. If he can try to get some order, it'll be a good one. Because, boy, this one is just completely out of hand.
Crowd on hand here today. We'd love to have you join us right here. The tickets to USWA Studio Wrestling are free. You do have to include a self-addressed stamped envelope. That's at SASE. Send it to Studio Wrestling Tickets, WMC TV, 1960 Union, Memphis, Tennessee. Our zip is 38104. Don't forget the self-addressed stamped envelope. Otherwise, we have no way to send your tickets back to you. Tell us how many you need. If you have a group of more than about 4 or 5 people, you do need to include a phone number so we can get in touch with you. Love to have you join us right here live in our TV5 studios. Speaking of live, there was a live 2-ring tournament that occurred. New car, 1993 Chevy Camaro. What a great car. Yeah. That was the prize. You had to win a bunch of matches to get there. Yeah. This young man did it. Danny Davis. Take a look.
Christopher grabs it. Pulls Danny Davis to the middle of the ring. Throws the rope out on the floor. And there's Christopher climbing the top rope. Oh, look out. Here comes Miss Texas. Oh, boy. She's shaking the ropes. Christopher falls down off the ropes. Danny Davis rolls him over. 1, 2. 2 seconds. Danny Davis, your winner of the tournament. Here comes that good-looking Chevrolet Camaro through the back of the Coliseum.
Here tonight to do our presentation of the keys to the 1993 Chevrolet Camaro is Mr. Kent Hallam from Guadney 2 Chevrolet, located Airways at Winchester near the airport here in Memphis, and he'll present the keys to Nightman Danny Davis. Mr. Hallam.
Thank you very much. All right. Hey, God bless you, Memphis. I love you all. I love Guadney 2 Chevrolet, too. Thank you very much. Thank you, Danny. Yeah.
Happy young man there with good reason. That brand new, great-looking automobile was his. Hey, there was some other action that went on in the last few days, too. Referee Paul Neighbors and Miss Texas figured prominently in that. Watch this.
Takes Paul in. Miss Texas. Boy, she's just dominating Paul Neighbors. Oh, but look out. Here comes Christopher. He knows Frank Morrell. Comes in and covers Miss Texas. Miss Simpson over-kicking Miss Texas. And look at Christopher. Just grabbing Miss Texas by a hair. Goes over and nails Morrell again. And Neighbors and Miss Simpson jump on Miss Texas. All jump on Miss Texas. And Christopher slams Miss Texas down. Paul Neighbors picks her up. Slams Miss Texas down again. Oh, look at that. Frank Morrell goes over. He nails Paul Neighbors. And Christopher hits Morrell. Oh, what a well of a thing this has gotten into. Miss Simpson takes that shoe off and it's Neighbors, and Christopher just calls on Miss Texas. This is just ridiculous. That's enough of this, boy, let me tell you.
beating on Miss Texas. Well, I tell you, I don't see any help though for Miss Texas. I don't know about the one of the ring. Christopher holding on to Miss Texas. Here comes some help from Miss Texas. Christopher's got Miss Texas up again. Here comes Jeff Jarrett. He nails Christopher, and Jarrett with the strap gets him out of there.
Well, it was quite a wild night there.
Miss Simpson, I got you in a 6-person tag. You think you're so tough? Well, I'm going to see how tough you really are. Now, you can run, but you can't hide. And when I catch up with you, I'm going to knock your teeth down your throat. And you're going to wish you never heard of the name Miss Texas.
Frank Morrell.
Paul Neighbors, you made a lot of decisions, and you've done a lot of things in the last few weeks that I don't like, and I'm sure these fans don't like. Now, Monday night, Neighbors, I've got a chance to get you in that ring. Let me just fill you in on a little thing. I wrestled for a lot of years, and I refereed a few years. You've never had a pair of tights on in your life, boy. So Monday night, I'm going to show you what getting down and getting dirty is about when I get you in that ring and give you the wrestling lesson that you've never had.
Jeff Jarrett, the fabulous one.
Well, Dave, it looks like Frank and Miss Texas are awful fired up. And you heard the old saying, got all your eggs in one basket. Well, Brian, Christopher, there's a lot of history between me and you. And I finally got the belt back around the waist, and I worked long and hard. And that's right, the fans know I worked long and hard. But now this week, I'm so happy that the promotion has put this 6-man tag together. Because Miss Simpson, no, you're not going to be at ringside just on the floor just to distract. No, what you're going to be is you're going to be in the ring, and you're going to be a wrestling participant. And Paul Neighbors, I'm so sick and tired of looking at your big ape-looking teeth and your smoke breath. I'm so sick and tired of all your coffee drinking, and you go around and tell everybody how great you are, and then that you know the right decisions. Well, it's going to be a 6-man tag. And Frank Morrell's going to take care of you, Paul. Miss Texas is going to take care of Miss Simpson, and Brian, that leaves me and you. And I can't wait for Monday night.
Paul Neighbors will start refereeing right, or he'll leave town.
There you go. Frank Morrell going to defend the honors of referees there, and I'm all for that.
Look out for that one Monday night at the Coliseum. That is going to be a whale of a bout coming up down there. And Paul Neighbors, well, I think everybody's out to Paul.
And with good reason.
Yeah.
My goodness. Let's take a look at the entire card coming up Monday night at the Coliseum. Opening match, Randy Rocket will be going against the Master of Terror. Following that, Scott Taylor takes on Johnny Polo. Junior heavyweight title match, the Disco Inferno. Maybe more about him a little bit later on. He'll be going against Danny Davis. The legend, Tony Falk. Well, I don't know. He's got his work cut out for him. Colin Scott's from Australia. Used to play rugby, played in the NFL for the Cardinals. We introduced him to you a little bit earlier in the program. He's big, and he wasn't backing up an inch from the legend Tony Falk. He's been working out with the USWA for some time now in training, and he's set to go in his debut match coming Monday night at the Coliseum. It's not all. USWA tag titles will be on the line. Principal C.W. Bergstrom and his A student, Melvin Penrod Jr., will be going against the former champions. These guys held the belts a long, long time. Rex King and Steve Dahl had a falling out right here with Bert Prentice today. You heard what Prentice said. We all did. He said they didn't deserve a title shot. They came out and got that straight, tore up the contract with Prentice, so it's going to be King and Dahl against Principal C.W. Bergstrom and A student Melvin Penrod with the USWA tag titles at stake. The unified title. Boy, it doesn't get very easy, does it? You just win the title. Everything is celebration for Jerry the King Lawler, and all of a sudden, Bert Prentice has announced, and he didn't give us a very good look at him there a little bit earlier, but this is the opponent, the Vampire Warrior, being brought in by Bert Prentice, and he says the Harts, Owen and Brett, to go against the King, Jerry Lawler, with the unified title at stake. But then, the final match of the night, the main event. There are about 3 or 4 main events on here. But this is going to be the 6-man grudge tag match. The fabulous one, Jeff Jarrett, Miss Texas, referee Frank Morrell on one side. looking for Brian Christopher, Miss Simpson, and referee Paul Neighbors, who is going to be facing a bunch of people, Corey, as you said, who are going to be looking for him. 7:30, Monday night, Mid-South Coliseum. Make your plans to be there right now. We'll see you right back here in a moment. Brian Christopher here with Miss Simpson and one of the most unpopular men in America right now, Paul Neighbors.
You know, Jeff Jarrett, Miss Texas, and Frank Morrell don't make me laugh. Too late, too late. You know, I don't understand it, Dave Brown. What is the deal? Come here, we have finally got a referee around here that knows what he's doing. We finally got a referee that knows how to referee a match, you understand? And I don't understand it. Everybody wants to beat him up now. Well, listen to me. I love you. I know what it is. Jeff Jarrett, everybody, Miss Texas, they want to get their hands on you because if the truth be known, when a real referee gets in there, you can't even beat my grandmother, Jeff Jarrett, and you can't even beat my grandmother, Miss Texas. Right here's the essence of beauty, Miss Simpson, and she's going to tell you what she's going to do to you, Miss Texas, when she gets her hands on you, you butch.
Fighting you, Mrs. Texas, is getting to be so much fun. When you get mad, I go shopping. You'll never beat me. You'll always, always lose, always lose. And while you get mad and you look disgusting and you get humiliated, I'm going shopping and acquiring new friends. Right, Paul?
That's right. And what are you going to do to Frank Morrell?
Let me tell you something, Frank Morrell. Monday night when you come, won't you bring you a cake? Because I'm fixing to retire you permanently. You understand? And Miss Texas, you found out one thing. I don't care if it's a man, a woman, a child, or a kid. When you get in my face, you put yourself in a man's position. You understand? And Jeff Jarrett, you're just like all the rest. When you get your shoulders down for the 1-2, what do? You want to start crying and start interfering. Well, it's going to be over. You understand?
You ain't got to worry about Jeff Jarrett because I'm going to take care of him. Just promise me that before you squeeze the last bit of breath out of Miss Texas, hand her over to me and hand Frank Morrell to me so I can slap him around and show him what a real man's all about. You get ready because we'll be there, boys.
Monday night. In the ring right now, you got Principal C.W. Bergstrom. You got his A student, Melvin Penrod Jr. They have the tag titles around their waist. This is a non-title match. The referee is Frank Morrell. He calls for the bell, and we are just about to get underway. Scott Taylor, Randy Rocket will be going against Bergstrom and Penrod here.
Penrod Jr. with C.W. Bergstrom, and that's junior. Wonder what senior.
Boy,
it looks like.
You got a good point there. I don't know. Hope they don't ever tag team if senior is as big as junior is. Oh, boy.
C.W. Bergstrom tangles up with Randy Rocket. Back Rocket up against the ropes. Frank Morrell checks Bergstrom as he whips Rocket in. Randy goes under again. Comes back in a flying press. Boy, but it doesn't work because Bergstrom picks him up. Have a look at Taylor. Scott Taylor with a drop kick, and Rocket got a 2 count out of it. Good move from this team of Taylor and Rocket. Boy, they work together well. Principal C.W. Bergstrom, half of the USWA World Tag Team Champions, and he just tagged his other half of the titles, Melvin Penrod Jr. And Penrod, big right hand from Penrod on Rocket. And Melvin Penrod Jr. tugging away on Randy Rocket over there. Ah, big open hand, just slaps Rocket.
You know, this is my first look at Melvin Penrod Jr. Been on vacation for a couple of weeks, and I was a bit surprised to find out that he and Bergstrom had taken the tag titles when I got back. And then when I saw Penrod, I said, come on. But I tell you what, after seeing him in the ring, I see he's vicious.
He's tough.
His appearance is misleading if you just don't make that snap decision on appearances, and there's a perfect example of it right there.
Yeah, also, you didn't get an opportunity to see last week what happened here with Bergstrom giving Penrod that apple as a treat after he went on the back.
Oh, my goodness.
Penrod milling away on Scott Taylor. Backs Taylor up, whips him into the ropes now. Scott goes under and a drop kick. And he takes Big Penrod down. Oh, boy.
Man, he rocked the ring. I guess there's one axiom that does hold. The bigger they are, the harder they fall.
Oh, not only the harder, boy, but the louder they fall, too. This Penrod, when he fell, you could hear this ring all over the studio. Scott Taylor falls on the Penrod as Randy Rocket comes off the ropes. On the arm of Melvin Penrod Jr. Hey, want to remind you, stay tuned here on USWA Championship Wrestling. Still to come to the expiration of time, Brian Christopher versus Jerry the King Lawler right here today on USWA Wrestling.
We have some uninvited guests coming in, and Bert Prentice heads into the ring. That's going to end this match right here, I think, as Prentice goes in there. As Steve Dahl and Rex King, Simply Divine, came to ringside, and Prentice was running for cover, and cover in the form of Penrod and C.W. Bergstrom. Now he's just running away.
Oh, boy, they were after Prentice. He rolls in the ring and hides behind Bergstrom and Penrod. And Rex King and Steve Dahl going after Bergstrom and Penrod Jr. Oh, boy, action continues in the USWA.
The King is back in more ways than one, I guess.
Yeah, I guess so. I want to come out here and mention a couple of things that are coming up. First of all, you know, we've said week in and week out about our big Lawler's Army softball team. Call them, of course, the Kings of Memphis. And we travel around and help different charitable organizations raise money and have a lot of fun and get to go to different cities and meet different people and play some of the top softball teams around the country. And we've had a lot of people call wondering how they can get in touch with us, so I wanted to just really quickly show this telephone number. There it is right there. The area code, of course, is 901-358-2924, and you'll speak with Mr. Guy Coffey there, and he's the one that lines up all the dates. And if you'd like to have me and my softball team come to your town, of course, you need to have a good softball team. Give us a little bit of competition there. We'll be more than glad to come on out there and help you raise some money there. So that's the number, 358-2924. And we'll be glad to hear from some people out there. Now, want to mention another thing. You know, it's no secret to anybody that the past few weeks I've gotten real upset about other people trying to call themselves the King. Because as far as I'm concerned, there is only one King of wrestling. But you see, there are other kings, and I'll be the first to admit that. But I am the only King of wrestling. But it seems that Memphis is sort of cornering the market on kings. We've always had the King of rock and roll, no doubt, Elvis Presley from right here in Memphis, Tennessee. B.B. King, he's the king of the blues right here in Memphis, Tennessee, down on Beale Street. Of course, who's the king of wrestling? Jerry Lawler right here. And you know, now we're fortunate to have right here in Memphis, Tennessee, from Memphis, Tennessee, the king of boxing. You know who I'm talking about? Olympic gold medalist Kennedy McKinney. And I want to bring him out here for just a second right now because he is also a world title holder. Let's hear it.
There he is right there, Kennedy McKinney, and my goodness gracious.
Kennedy, come on around here.
Good to see you, Jerry.
Good to see you, my man. Look at this big belt. This is the World Super Bantamweight title, right?
That's right, that's right. And like you said, the king is still from Memphis.
That's right. King of boxing now. And I understand you got a big world title defense coming up next Saturday, right?
Yeah, I got a fight coming up next Saturday at the Pyramid. I'll be defending my world title for the second time this year. So I asked everybody out of Memphis come on out, just like the king of wrestling here. Now you have the king of boxing. So come on out July 17th at the Pyramid. Hey, let's show Memphis what it's all about.
That's right, my man. Kennedy McKinney. All right. Thanks, Dave.
All right, thank you both. Good luck to you. Tell you, Corey, we got a lot of action coming up in the USWA round of territory. Let's quickly take a look at that.
Yeah, we'll do that real quickly. Coming up Friday night, Blytheville, Arkansas. Friday, July 16th, National Guard Armory on Division Street there in Blytheville. Jeff Jarrett, Danny Davis, Miss Texas. Little Long Eagles on the card in Blytheville, Arkansas. Coming up Friday night in Blytheville. Friday, July 23rd, 8:30 bell time. Collierville, Tennessee, Championship Wrestling at Durango's on Highway 72. Honky Tonk Man, ladies match, Danny Davis, Master of Terror, Randy Rocket, all lined up for Collierville, Tennessee. Saturday, July 24th, Jonesboro, Arkansas. Earl Bell Community Center on Church Street. Jeff Jarrett, Miss Texas, Scott Taylor. Many more, as always, in Jonesboro, Arkansas, at the Earl Bell Community Center. And USWA Championship Wrestling in Ripley, Mississippi. At the Ripley High School, the USWA Top Stars in Ripley. And coming soon, Championship Wrestling in Huntington, Tennessee. That's USWA Championship Wrestling on tour. Hey, stay tuned. Brian Christopher and the King, Jerry Lawler, when we return with more exciting USWA Championship Wrestling. Stay with us.
Brian Christopher and Miss Simpson have arrived. And on the way, Brian Christopher's opponent here today, the King of Wrestling. He's on the way, Brian. Don't you worry about it. Keep your eye right there, and he'll be here in just a moment, I guarantee you.
Yeah, Christopher said he's scared. He's scared he's not coming. The music of the King, the unified world heavyweight champion.
Brian, get back in the ring. He's not scared of anything.
He's gonna show up. He's gonna show up. Where's he at? Everybody's scared of me.
He showed up. Come on. Climbing into the ring right now, the King, Jerry Lawler. Oh, boy, referee Paul Neighbors for this one. Boy, I don't like the looks of that. Anyway, Brian Christopher. Yeah, look at that. Giving Paul Neighbors a hug on the way. And Lawler is pointing out, hey, this is not good. You guys are going to be partners in a match.
Look like they're already partners, too.
I'll tell you what. Now, keep in mind, Paul Neighbors has a referee's license. He is a certified USWA referee. As such, he puts in for and is assigned to matches. All we can do is hope for the best here, fans.
Oh. And lately, that hasn't been working. Hey,
Lawler is wanted. He says, hey, let somebody from the audience referee.
Yeah. Lawler said, hey, let this guy referee. And the fans, they all like it, too. They say, yeah. let him do it. And Paul Neighbors kicks at the fan and tells him to sit down over there. Boy, I think Paul is afraid, more or less, he may be losing his job to one of the wrestling fans.
Well, I guarantee you, just about anybody sitting over there would call it
down the middle.
Fairer, yeah.
At least.
They might miss a couple of calls, but they would sure call it down the middle. And you know, I've been doing this for a number of years and have never made a habit, certainly, of putting down the officials. They have a very, very tough job. They miss some, sure, but they have a very, very tough job. But I tell you what I've seen in recent weeks from Paul Neighbors here is well, disgusting is a word that comes to mind. Here we go, Corey. Let's see what happens. Brian Christopher against Jerry Lawler.
Yep, hey, we're underway with it. Christopher, yeah, gets a break quickly. He runs on. And look at Neighbors. He's warning Lawler.
Oh, man, he said, you do that one more time, and I'm going to disqualify you, and raise his hand. Boy.
Paul has just gotten to be ridiculous. Now, this kind of stuff. I think Christopher backs him up against the ropes, and a clean break. And Paul Neighbors said, yeah, see, clean break. He didn't put his fist up. And Paul bragging at the fact that he got Lawler a break. Boy, I tell you. Lawler tangles up with Christopher. A main event on USWA Wrestling today. Christopher backs the King up against the turnbuckle. Breaks it. On, holds off and nails Lawler.
All right, how's Neighbors going to explain that? Oh, Brian told him it was an open hand. Neighbors was looking at it. He saw him hit him with a fist.
And Neighbors said, oh, yeah, it was an open hand. Oh, yeah, Lawler, I'd not to hear what Jerry's telling him, but I'm sure he's telling him, well, you watch this open hand I've got. Backs Christopher up against the turnbuckle. Can't give it to him, though, because Neighbors blocks him. Christopher hauls off with a right of his own on the King. Oh, Jerry, outside of the ring going after Mississippi. Look at Paul Neighbors. Counting to the 10. He's at 8 already.
He was at 9 when Lawler stepped back in there. My goodness gracious. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is the way he was counting.
That's about a regular 2 or 3 count.
Yeah.
And he counted to 9 from that short a time.
And Miss Simpson says, I never touched his foot. I never touched his boot. I did not. And Neighbors allows us to go on.
Lawler twists the arm of Brian Christopher. Tightening up on that left arm as he bars that arm. Paul Neighbors runs around to check to make sure he's not doing anything illegal that he calls illegal, at least. As Lawler bars on to Christopher. Ah, look at Christopher. Pulls a handful of hair of Lawler's, and Paul Neighbors didn't see it. Yeah, now I know. Oh, and Paul Neighbors asked Christopher, did you pull it there? So Brian Christopher is now half referee along with Paul Neighbors referee.
Well, all Christopher had to do was deny it, and Paul Neighbors said, okay. He said he didn't do it. Oh, man. Oh, he saw Jerry pull hair. He saw the King do it, but he didn't see Brian do it.
Boy, I don't know what Paul, I don't know if he's got some of those 3D eyes or what he's got in there, but they like click on and off. They click on and see certain things, then they click off in there. Paul Neighbors. Refereeing this one between the King and Christopher. Christopher bags Lawler up against the turnbuckle, and Miss Simpson grabs the boot of Lawler, holds on to him, while Brian Christopher clobbers away. Series of rights. Lawler kicks away from Miss Simpson.
That does it right there.
Oh,
look out.
Oh, so that does it. The King got a little hollow around the collar. He goes after Brian Christopher. Slamming away on Christopher. Oh, boy. Christopher just deliberately looked like threw him into Paul Neighbors.
Yeah, Neighbors, Lawler, Christopher all down.
Here comes Bert Prentice.
Prentice up on the ring apron. Brian Christopher. Oh, look at this. Look, a giant chain handed in by Bert Prentice. And now Prentice is telling the crowd, don't tell, don't tell. Oh, look out. Lawler sees it. He's got the chain, and look out, Brian Christopher.
He nails Christopher, goes over and gets it around the neck of Prentice. He's choking Bert Prentice with it. Oh, Prentice calling for help now from the back.
Who's that?
Oh, boy, what in the world is that? Some strange character. I don't know.
Oh, look at those teeth. I don't know.
That's got to be that Vampire Warrior.
Vampire Warrior, that's right.
Boy, he comes from behind and nails Lawler. Got the King down. I don't know if he's fighting on him over there, what he's doing. Oh, the big guy continues jumping on Jerry Lawler. Bert Prentice and Brian Christopher cheering on. As the big guy jumps on the King, this vampire.
Get on it. Fight him. Fight him.
Well, yeah, he's biting on him. That's what he's doing, biting. Oh, boy. Prentice and Christopher cheerleading on. As he just continues to work Lawler over in there.
This is a guy that Bert Prentice announced would be Lawler's next opponent. Oh, my goodness.
Oh, boy, he's got him up. Boy, Lawler's cut open there.
Man.
And he's biting on him, steady biting on the King. This guy came in like a wild man, jumps on Lawler. He's got blood all over his face from biting on Jerry. Got the King cut open. Oh, boy. Here comes help. Here comes Chris Frazier, yeah. Frazier comes in, jumps on Christopher and the Vampire. Oh, boy. And he, man, oh, man. Well, a big clothesline takes Frazier out, and Christopher kicks him out of the ring. Here comes some more help. That's TD still. TD with a kick from behind. Slows the Vampire down. Oh, and a headbutt on TD still. And Christopher, oh boy, taking care of the unwanted help. Throws Frazier and TD out. And Jerry Lawler cut open badly as this Vampire Warrior continues to bite on the key. That's Chris Frazier out on the floor. Here comes some more help. Here's Scott Taylor and Randy Rocket. TD still is just, he was trying to hold on to the Vampire. Oh, boy, he DDT's TD. There goes Taylor over the top rope. Man, oh, man. Prentice over choking Lawler. Jerry cut open bad, too, there.
What a free-for-all we got going here. And Prentice holding Lawler down, choking him with a chain. And here comes the Vampire Warrior again. This Vampire Warrior looks like big-time trouble for the King.
Oh, boy. The Vampire Warrior in there biting away on Jerry. Christopher over cheering on Vampire Warrior. Eddie Marlin's out. Eddie's trying to get him stopped in here. Oh, boy. That Vampire Warrior cut Scott Taylor from the back.
Oh, here's some disco music, and here's Johnny Polo here.
Dave Brown, I feel so proud and lucky today to be able to introduce to all you Memphis morons the man from Studio 54 in New York City, the Disco Inferno. Tell him about it, yeah. Woo. Tell him about it.
Down here in Memphis, Tennessee is the only place I've been where disco is as unappreciated as here. But that's because these rednecks are too stupid to have any discos. They've been brought up going to these honky-tonk bars, listening to this Winona Mud and Billy Ray Virus and Clint Crack and all that country garbage. But the reason people love country so much here is because misery loves company. And you rednecks are the most miserable bunch of people I have ever seen in my life.
Well
spoken. Tell them about Monday night. Monday night in the Memphis Coliseum, I got Danny Davis, the middleweight champion. This tomato can has no chance against me because I am the 11th-time unified Brooklyn Wrestling Federation champion. So you tell me what type of chance Danny Davis is going to have for the middleweight title against me. I'm going to take the middleweight title. I'm going to take it home. I'm going to put it on my mantle right next to my autographed picture of John Travolta. All right.
Well, all right. Well, you're going to have to win it first. That may not be quite that easy. Thank you very much for the introduction, Mr. Polo. Let's check the entire card coming up Monday night at the Mid-South Coliseum at 7:30. Opening match of the night, Randy Rocket will be going against the Master of Terror. Following that in the next match, Scott Taylor goes against, and it was just here, Johnny Polo. Then this Disco Inferno you just met goes against the Nightmare Danny Davis. He's got a brand new car. He's got the junior heavyweight title, and he'll be defending it against Disco Inferno. What did he say? 6, 7 times Brooklyn Wrestling Champion?
He said 10 times.
10 times. Well, he didn't want to exaggerate too much. I don't know if he was or not. Legend Tony Falk will be in next, going against Colin Scotts. Colin Scotts, the former NFL football player and Australian rugby player. Big guy, going to be going against the Legend. The Legend, of course, trying to work his way into the top 10. He needs a victory. He's got a tough time coming up with it against Colin Scotts, I'm afraid, even though it's Colin Scotts' debut match in the USWA. USWA tag titles at stake then. Principal C.W. Bergstrom and the A student Melvin Penrod Jr. will bring the belts to the ring and defend them against the former champions Rex King and Steve Dahl. unified title will be at stake. And my goodness gracious, take a look at this vampire warrior. That's the King he had down on the mat. He was using those teeth. He cut the King open. This is a problem for the King. I think the King was surprised at the vicious way that his next opponent came in here, and it's going to be coming up Monday night. The Vampire Warrior with Burt Prentice against the King, and the unified title is at stake. 6-man grudge match will be coming up after that. You got the fabulous one, Jeff Jarrett, Miss Texas, and referee Frank Morrell going against Brian Christopher, Miss Simpson, and referee Paul Neighbors. Big night coming up Monday night. Mid-South Coliseum at 7:30. Make the plans to be there. Make the plans to be back right here next week. Until then, for Corey Macklin, I'm Dave Brown. So long, everybody.
The announcers on this program are selected and paid by parties other than this station, mainly the promoters of USWA Championship Wrestling.